I should start with you, Mark, as a startup veteran, as I've previously called you. But the Mountain Warehouse is now an established business, but still growing. And it'd be fascinating to sort of get your thoughts really on those challenges of the process going through expanding your business.
Going from one shop to two shops is quite a big deal. In terms of, particularly if you're working in the shop, as I did for some of that time, you can't work in two shops at the same time. You might want to have the occasional day off. And so depending on where your second shop is, it makes it, much more complicated.
What made you decide on where the second store would be located? Was it just what came up and you were sort of monitoring quite a few different places at the same time, or?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been very risk averse, and so it's been a bit opportunistic. I mean, to be honest, we're much bigger now, but it's still that in really, and so I was very keen on finding flexible leases.
How do you find it negotiating financing for expansion? Do you go to banks or private equity and look for financing from there, or are you organic? Or are you?
We've had 4 lots of private equity over the years. We've been going for 18 years now, and 4 sets of private equity along the way.
Right.
And we have found it relatively straightforward. There's a lot of investment money out there.
Right. And is this moment in time particularly more preferable at negotiating the deals right now, or
it
are
is,
you getting better rates?
Yes, it is, but my advice would be to try and do it as much as possible without external investment if you can.
What's everyone else's plan in the bottom or the top drawer of your businesses? Is it where do you envisage your business is going from here, from where you are today?
Well, my expansion plans with Orbiter Blue are going to be slightly different. We are primarily an online business, but we have looked at building a model with regards to certain growth opportunities and expansion opportunities of moving from inside the UK, and we are purely a UK-centric company, to expanding into Europe, expanding internationally. We already have people from overseas trying to buy our products, and so we're looking at expansion from that perspective on doing deals with regards to shipping and delivery of items, obviously understanding tax regimes and brackets of custom and excise in different parts of the world. Also, from our perspective as well, we are anticipating different impacts on our business depending on how many products we have. As an internet company, the more products you have, the larger your SEO is going to go, and therefore the more searchable you become. And so there are many different sort of levels of how we will be expanding.
Lisa, you're 3 years old as a business, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 years old. So originally, my plan was always that by year 3, I'd already be in my second store.
Right.
However, I'm now rethinking that actually there's more opportunity to have a bigger store in where I am, and to focus on doing that rather than going off looking for another location. So that would be my more immediate plans, and then eventually move to try and find a second location.
We've been going 18 months now, so as a gift boutique, what really we've been doing is trying lots of things. So seeing, initially we had a certain product range, and we work with a lot of illustrators and designer makers, and people seem to respond really well to that. So then it's a matter of me. I think when you're an independent store, people look to you for newness, and they want to be really interested in what you're doing. And if you just sort of stand still, you're boring and they're going to go somewhere else. That's how I've been trying to expand, is literally to learn more about the products before I then think either we'll have a second store, or maybe we'll go somewhere that we are surrounded by other independent retailers.
Thanks very much, everyone. That's been fascinating, and actually, what's been interesting is the different interpretations of what expansion to your business means, and how you move with the opportunities as well, which is really, really important. But Mark, the things you've heard on this discussion, but also from your experience, is there just one or two points that you would want to sort of summarise for our audience who may be looking at whatever level of expansion that they're contemplating?
Well, I think we've done all of those types of expansion at times. You know, we've expanded our range enormously, you know, possibly too much in some cases, and retrenched. We've expanded stores. We've found a lot of success actually in expanding stores where we've got an established store, and when we've knocked through to next door or moved a few doors away to a bigger shop, that has always worked for us. We have expanded into online in relatively late in the day, probably, but that's also worked well for us. And of course, we're opening more shops.
Thanks very much, Mark, and thanks again, everyone, for all your contributions on that point. Thank you.